Hi, and welcome back to the Titus to Woman channel. This is Latrace, and I am here with a question today. Can you believe it? Are people really fighting against you for making a decision? And especially a decision where you're in obedience to what God has said for you to do, maybe a decision regarding your walk with Him or your life, um, and people are fighting against you for making the decision, right? And so, I just wanted to share with you a example of a way for you to be encouraged today, okay? And so, by the time I was in my 30s, I really could not recall many people that I had seen or experienced in my little short uh, time on earth that made a decision, right? And stood on it. I mean, made a decision that was them against the world, right? And they stayed and they stood on it. But only one that I can remember by my 30s. Like in my 30s, I was like, can't recall anyone else, but just this one couple. And so, therefore, today I'm sharing this with you so that you can have a witness, like someone who can possibly explain what might be happening in your life right now, and which is causing you, and it could be causing you to wonder, are you really going in the right direction? Is this, is this not the way to go? Are you maybe not hearing, are you not hearing God clearly that this is what you should do? I definitely encourage you to stick around to the end of this video, right? So it wasn't until people really began to question my decision or my decisions, um, you know, when it came to my obedience to God, to the Holy Spirit, His instructions, right? Okay. And so I did have people that talked behind my back. I had people that talked in front of my face, those that, were closest to me. And that's kind of when I think I began to recall that there was this one couple, and they had then I began to see that they displayed really a amount of strength that I hadn't seen before, um, as parents, and they stood on their decision regarding, the situation that they had going on at the time, which was a public one. But they were bold, they were unapologetic, and without explanation. And I don't know if this is everyone, but you know, they are. Now the world is like, you don't know anyone an explanation. Um, I'm there a little bit, uh, along with the you could just say no, right? And so I have to admit that this had happened many years before I had even thought about being 30. So, like, this had happened many years before I had even turned 30, where I had witnessed this. And I had to admit that I didn't quite understand really what God was showing me at that time, and what He was allowing me to see through them and in the situation, even though I was looking from the outside in, right? But I would later be in a familiar issue and even one greater, right? And so, I just wanted to let you know that, you know, even as your relationship develops with God, and your understanding of His love for you, His desire for you and towards you, will also begin to develop. This development, though, will cause you to then begin to make different decisions. And like I said, someone watching this video may already be in a situation where, now you're believing God and you are acting upon, his word and his instructions, which are causing you to make different decisions. And now people are like really not understanding what's going on. And so, many are not in agreement with it. And though it has nothing to do with their lives, like your decision is not making anything really change in their lives, but yet they believe that their suggestions and are valid and are of truth because it's based on their love for you, right? And we can't. What I learned was I can't allow someone else's love for me here on earth be my decision factor, because God's, especially when it's going against God, because God loves me greater, like no greater love, right? And so this even means family. Yes, I'm talking about family, friends, and even, associates, right? And so, however, regardless of your decision, it has to be made and it has to be done, okay? It has to be made and it has to be done. You're going to have to make it. It's going to have to be made, and if you made it, you're going to have to stand on it. You're going to have to stand on it. Let me tell you, I had to put my feet in the sand a lot of times. As they said, when the water comes, if you grip your feet into the sand, it helps when the water come along pushing against your legs, right? And so I believe that this is why in Ezra chapter 4, God shares with us, right, actions displayed through other people's lives that he has in the Bible for us to see and have reference to, okay? And so let's check out what he has for us today here in Ezra, right? So it says, now when the adversaries heard that the descendants of the Now when the adversaries heard that the descendants of the captivity were building the temple of the Lord, they came to the family heads of the fathers' houses, and they said to them, right, let us build with you, for we seek your God as you do, and we have sacrificed to him. But the heads of the fathers' houses said to them, you may do nothing with us to build a house to our God, but we alone will build to the Lord our God, okay? And it says, then the people, listen at this, then the people, the ones that had asked to build, of the land tried to discourage the people of Judah. I'm going to keep reading. They troubled them in the building, and they hired counselors against them to frustrate them. Right? Okay. It goes on to say that they even wrote a letter against them to King Artaxerxes, something like that. Artaxerxes. So this is what the people who did that had asked to help. Let's keep reading. So they wrote a letter to the king, and this is what it said. Let it be known to the king that the Jews who came up from you have come to us at Jerusalem. They are building the rebellious and evil city, and they are finishing its walls and repairing the foundation. Let it be known to you, king, that if this city is built and the wall is completed, they would not pay taxes, tribute, or customs, and the king's treasury will be diminished. I'm sorry. Now, because we received support from this palace, it was proper for us to see the king's dishonor. That search may be made in the book of records of our fathers, and you will find in those books records, and you will know that this city is a rebellious city, harmful of kings and providence, and that they have incited seductions within the city in former times, which caused this city to be destroyed. We inform you, king, that if this city is rebuilt and its walls are completed, the results will be that you will have no dominion beyond the river. So then the king said, and I gave the command when he wrote back. And he said, and that he now gives the command to them to make these men cease, that this city may not be built until he then commands them, given by him. Okay. So when I read this, sorry that my camera is falling. When I read this chapter, I I was like, wow. It sounds very familiar. There's more. So let me finish. It says, so he then told them, look, take heed that you do not fail to do this. So do it quickly, right? And then, so the people, they went up in haste to Jerusalem against the Jews, and by force of arms made them cease. Thus, the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem, ceased. And it was discontinued until the second year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Now, honestly, did you catch the first words of this chapter, right? It started off with telling us who these people really were. It said, now when the adversaries, their enemies, right? So, the Bible would be so amazing to me because it'd be reminding you of people today, right? And so it started off with saying, and when their adversaries, their enemies, the same people that came to them, okay? But we need to know who our true adversaries are and our true enemies are in situations, right? Please get this clear, what I'm saying, what I'm about to say. This does not mean all the time. What I'm about to say does not mean that they always have forever been. No. But there are times when the adversary and the enemy against you is your family. And that includes mother, your children, aunties, your grandmother, best friends, the one who loved you all your life, and the one you loved all yours. Yes, I said it. Again, I said, not saying that they always have been, always will. I'm saying there are times, situations where when it comes to you following instructions, being obedient, that those very individuals may be considered your adversary, your enemies, right? And I'll say this, because in Matthew chapter 12 and verse 50, it talks about Jesus was speaking to a crowd, teaching a crowd, and someone told him as he was teaching, that his mother and his brother wanted him to come over there and speak to them, or that they wanted to speak to him, right? And he replied, "Who is my mother and my brother?" Right? And so in verse 50, it's stated at the very end where he says, "For whoever does the will of my Father is my brother and sister and mother." Right? So, again, if you're doing the will of God and they happen to make their decisions to be on the other side of your decision, then they're not in the will. And they are very much on adversary and enemy. So, and look at it. It even says here that after calling them adversary and enemy, these same people, it said, came to them and said to the people, "Let us help you build. For they seek God as you do and have sacrificed to him." So my question is, you mad at me about making a decision. How do you know? How do you know that I'm seeking God? How do you know that my decision is wrong? How do you know? Right? So even in this situation, they said to them, "For we seek God as you do." How do they know that they were seeking God? If this was about seeking God, what does their sacrificing to God have to do with theirs? What does their seeking God or sacrificing to God, people that are against you, has to do with you and against your decision? Even if it's asking, even in the amount, even those that ask to help, get with you and start helping, and then be over there cutting up. We shouldn't do it this way. No, this ain't how it go. No, the Lord wouldn't have told you to do nothing. Wait, why is you over here? Right? And so, then the other question, my question was reading this: how do I even know based off your word that you sacrificed to him for real? How do I know that you seek him for real? And how do I know that your sacrifices were even accepted? But we gonna keep going. I don't know. Then, when they replied, "You may do nothing with us to build a house for our God, but we alone will build to our God." Here they told them, "We good. We good. You don't have to do nothing with me. I'm the one." And really, when you making decisions in obedience, following God's instructions, and you making decisions for you, you're the only one. Just you alone. You are seeking God. You're the only one gonna hear him. Pertaining to you in that situation that he has you in, you're the only one gonna hear him. You're the only one that has to trust him. It has to be you trusting God. It has to be you hearing from God. It has to be your obedience to God. Right? Because the minute you include, as we see, the minute you include or not, look what happened. The minute you include them or you don't include them, this is what happens. The next thing it says, the people of the land tried to discourage them. Did you read that? It said they tried to discourage them. Then they tried to trouble them in the building. Then they went a little further, and then they began to hire people, counselors, it says, against them. So is this lawyers? What is this? Now you praying against me also? Because here it said they hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose. Y'all, keep moving. Listen, Keep moving. When you being obedient and standing in obedience, doing what God say, keep moving. And then they wrote a letter. Don't believe just because they said no. Because even if they would have said yes, these things still would have happened. Right? They still they still would have happened. Because remember, the very first verse said, your enemy. Honestly, I don't think they realized who they were. Right? I don't think they realized that they were enemies. Which is why you must be made aware. That's the reason why, I mean, like I said, it's imperative that you even know it could be, yes, your mother, like your grandmother, your friend. It's imperative that you know. You must discern and you must trust the leading of the Holy Spirit on this matter as well. Like, it's a must. So, why the letter? Why against you? Right? They've been there. Why the letter? Why were they against them? They had been there in that same land with them. So when they saw them building, they also saw before the building. So they too saw that the city was in ruins. They too saw, and this goes for your life, they too saw it needed repairs. They also, I mean, they saw the same thing that the Jews saw before they started building. Just the same way that the people that's in your life that's going against you, they too see your life. Oh, they see it. They've been talking about it. They know your well-being. They know your depression. They know your unhappiness. Where was the letter of help? Or let's say that they prayed and asked for help and the help came. And the help is now you doing what you doing in obedience. But instead, they still wrote further. They wrote further. When they told the king, listen, this was a rebellious city from the first place. It was evil. Listen, they was in trouble already. That's why, look. And if you let them finish, they're not gonna pay no. They not gonna pay you no money. Look, check the books. Check their future, right? Talking about you. That's what they do. They was talking about them people. Yeah, because they got it. They was disobedient to God before. They shacked up. They been sleeping around. Oh yeah, they been talking about you already anyway. That's what I say. They know. They know. They've been talking. They've been talking against you. Now there has been some decisions made about you, and it's an issue. Why is there an issue? Why? To the point where he even gave a command like, yes, listen, you go tell them I said stop what they doing. That this city may not be built until I come back and command them that they can build it. So, and I'm laughing at it, but I'm not. I'm serious. So when that person that loves you say to you, I don't believe that he told you to do. I don't believe that God told you to tell you to do that. So then you stop. When do you start back? When they come with a different word that God would have told you, or when they come with a word that God would possibly say that they think of. Listen, this is 100% strategy and the results that the devil, your adversary, your enemy wants to happen. right? He 100% is behind them fighting against you. Your will and desire and the decision to be obedient to God, the decision to trust him, the decision to do his will. You know, he's behind all the things that's against you, all the words that are coming against you to make you do different. He's behind it. And it is 100% his strategy to make you cease. So I encourage you, for all of those reasons, that you continue to push forward. Right? Because they will. Oh, they will. They gonna continue to push forward. Look at what it says next. They gonna push forward. Take heed now. He told them. He told the people that was telling on the Jews. Take heed now and do not fail. Go quickly. And the people went quickly against the Jews, and by force of arms made them cease. What did I just say? Made them cease. You don't want that to be your result. And if that's your result, that's the cause of our work never getting finished. Listen, we have to finish. And the only way we will finish and that not be our result, that they use force of arms, that they hurried up and use force of arms, because just know every time you try to be obedient, it's going to come, right? And the only way that the cause of our work never gets finished will be when we listen to them. And the results that we never receive our promise would be because we allowed someone to tell us something different, to tell us to stop, to tell us that ain't true, to tell us that ain't right. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't have you. He wouldn't. You'll be surprised at what people would tell you that God won't do. I'm not even going to say that thought that just hit. So I'm saying to you, be aware of who your adversary is. Continue to be obedient to God. Continue to stand on that and knowing that when you are in obedience to him, he will be there for you. Also, stand on your decision, no matter who coming against you. Right? Whether it be, like I said, mother, father, children, it doesn't matter. Right? And so I'm just here to encourage you again, and I want to thank you for being here with me on the Titus 2 Woman channel, and I ask that you would like and subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you then.